Well, good morning, and good morning, Denver. All right. My name is Kelly Mead, and I'm the Executive Director of the Office of the National Western Center. It's a new office established by the Mayor, Mayor Hancock, to implement the vision of the National Western Center. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Obviously, there's a little bit of excitement about this project among us Coloradoans about what's happening. You know, we did one of these events back in October. We certainly found it helpful. Hopefully, you'll find today helpful. We've made some progress. And the goal of these is pretty straightforward. It's to make sure that you, the industries, the design professionals, construction professionals, and everything in between that would have something to do with helping us create this vision is informed about what we're doing, because this is a long-term project. This is going to take years to do, but we want to make sure that all of you are informed to the greatest extent possible about this project, about the work, and kind of what's in front of us, because the great news is you have some time to get ready as we lay this out. So you'll hear that today. You're going to hear from our team that we've assembled within the city, and we're going to walk you through some of the procurement packages that we're going to push out this year into the marketplace. And then we'll probably do this again in September or October and talk about what we envision as our early packages, or some of our packages that would come out in 2017. And we'll do these at least twice a year. And then obviously we'll use all the various electronic formats and mediums to keep people informed. So hopefully today you're going to get the kind of nuts and bolts issues out there. We'll leave some time for questions. Before we get started, I want to just welcome you to the National Western Stock Show Complex and the Beef Palace. What a better place to have an event like this. But you can tell we left the rain buckets here to show you that the facility does need some love. This will be one of the buildings we ultimately tear down and replace it with something new. I also want to introduce my friend and our host today, Mr. Paul Andrews with the National Western Stock Show. I also saw walking around here Jocelyn Hill from Colorado State University, another one of our key partners. And then again, you'll meet some of our staff members here shortly. I also just want, and I'll say this again, is all the information you're going to see today will be posted on the North Denver Cornerstone Collaborative website, NDCC website. It will be posted by the end of the week. So we've got all the visuals you see, the PowerPoint. There's some one-pagers that we have that we'll make available for PDF, so you can have those online. We do have some limited copies here. We're trying to be more sustainable, so we brought some limited copies for folks that just feel really driven to have a piece of paper in your hand. We also have an 11 by 17 token you grab as you walk in. It gives you a general overview of the first couple phases of the project. But everything you see today or here today will get posted online. We will also have on there, and I'm sure there's going to be follow-up questions you have about specific issues. We will provide right up front contact information for folks within the city and county of Denver. If you have questions, follow-up questions, and again, we'll get all that posted by the end of the week for follow-ups. So with that, I'm going to quickly run through just to kind of set the stage, and then we'll turn it over to start running through the program. So again, today is like if you get on an airplane and you think you're going to Seattle, but you're really on the Oakland flight. This session today is about design, construction, professional services. So if you're here for something else, enjoy yourself. We have free breakfast upstairs. The agenda is pretty straightforward. I'm going to give the overview. We're going to walk you through 4 of the key kind of procurement documents that will flow out this year from the city. We have folks from Public Works and other city agencies there to make sure that you're prepared, since all this work will flow through the city and county of Denver, and then we'll leave a little bit of time for Q&A at the end. So again, just to set quick context, this project is one of 6 under the North Denver Cornerstone Collaborative, and it's part of a broader vision of the mayor's called the Port of Opportunity that links Denver Union Station to DIA. The National Western Center sits right at the entry point into the city, the new gateway, northern gateway into our city, at Wright Boulevard and I-70. And this is, the vision for this area is really, it's a commercial or industrial area, it will continue to be so, but it's all about moving good services to people in a global way. How do we as a city, as a Front Range and as a state, make sure that we have a robust, industrial, kind of commercial corridor, and again with the train, the new train, and then ultimately the global airport. In fact, folks are flying back today from Munich, the first nonstop flight back from Munich. So Denver is more and more becoming a launching point for kind of global connections, and the National Western Center is going to be a big part of that. And here's a little bit about that today. Again, this is one of 6 NDCC projects. This is our project area. Again, is from basically I-25 to the west, Colorado Boulevard to the east, County Line to the north, and MLK Boulevard to the south. About 3,000 acres of land right at the front door of the city. Again, the National Western is one of the 6 projects, and this is all about really reconnecting and re-energizing 3 historic neighborhoods, local area Swansea, that have seen no infrastructure investment for over 3 decades. The study area for the National Western, again, all this information, the master plan, the RTA application, anything and everything you want to know about this project is online, and I would encourage you to read it. These are the highlights. Our study area is at full build out, approximately 270 acres. The master plan envisioned a 8-phase redevelopment effort over many years. 2.8 million in new square feet of new and renovated facilities on the campus. And our boundaries basically are Wright Boulevard to the east, Race Court to the north, the South Platte River to the west, and the Coliseum to the south, which makes up the full campus boundaries. Again, 8 phases of development. When you hear the $856 million number, that is essentially for phases 1 and 2 of the project. Over those 8 phases. And phases 1 and 2 really impact over 80% of the project. So it buys all the land, it builds all the infrastructure, basically gets the site ready for development, and prepares it for vertical construction. The easiest thing we'll end up doing on this project is building buildings. The hardest thing we'll do is getting to being prepared to build buildings. That's where all the work really will happen. All new road infrastructure, all new wet and dry utilities, essentially rebuilding a 100-year-old site with the most modern, technologically advanced sort of components to make this a global platform for celebrating the pioneering spirit of the West, food security, food production with public and private partners. This just gives you a little more detail about phases 1 and 2. Again, your 11 by 17 that you got today gives you some of the highlights. And what I would tell you is, once we bring in our program and project manager, one of the things that we will do is go back through and assess that phasing plan to say, what are the decisions we need to make over the next 12, 24, 36 months? How do we procure this project in a way that can allow us to do it as most effectively and efficiently as possible? Can we go faster? What are the decisions, critical path decisions we need to make that happen? So, this describes what we have out there today, really describes what came out of our master plan, which is pretty obviously infrastructure heavy, new roadway connections across the Platte over Washington Street, and getting again the site ready for development. This is a little hard to read, but obviously there's a variety of activities and tracks within those efforts. So for land, our 2 critical paths right now are land acquisition. We're buying land to get us to our full build out capacity. And we have some short line rail that we have to move off the river, consolidated down the center of the site. Those are the 2 things we're very focused on right now. But we have lots of environmental issues out here that we have to work through. Continued preliminary studies to make sure we understand kind of the strategies for moving the project forward, and then both horizontal and vertical development. So these just kind of layouts of the tasks that we'll be working through in the coming months and years. This is a general schedule, and again, a more detailed schedule will come out later this year once I feel confident, the team feels confident that we have both comfort around land acquisition and rail consolidation. That's kind of the accordion of our schedule. But once we have clarity around our ability to implement rail consolidation, our ability to have enough site control through land acquisition, we will develop a comprehensive delivery schedule with our program development partner. Now I'm going to turn it over to the meat of the program. Gretchen Hollers up first. She is my Deputy Director for the Office of the National Western Center, and she's going to walk you through project reporting. Gretchen.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I got to meet a lot of you walking in, which was the first part of the program, the informal part called Find the Beef Palace. So thank you for your tour of the site. What I'd like to actually do first, before I talk about project reporting, is go through our structure, just so you'll know a little bit more about the team that we formed with our partners. We made some specific steps at the city in discussions with the mayor to form the Mayor's Office of the National Western Center. And that is to pull together a pretty small but nimble team that still coordinates with the North Denver Cornerstone Collaborative, but pulls this one project out because it is so large, just to give it a little more direction, clear direction. And you can see on this org chart Kelly Lee, who just finished speaking, Tricia Ortega, who many of you met at check-in, along with Erica Martinez, our Director of Communications. Michael Stapp was at the front of the facility, helping me direct folks here. He's our Director of Community Engagement. And Erica and Michael and Tricia, I know you're here. There's Erica, Michael, Tricia. Myself, Gretchen, Eric Shaffrin's going to follow me. He's our Director of Capital Construction in the past. Nikki Homeland just started as our Fiscal Administrator, and Stephanie Reed just joined our team as well from our Public Works Department. So this is our small but nimble team. We may have one or two more folks in 2017, but that's how we intend to accomplish some of the early work on behalf of the city ahead of the eventual formation of an authority that we are working on with our partners to help govern the eventually built-out site. This is a quick slide that talks about the coordination and additional roles that are shared between, and you'll see the Office of the National Western Center, which we have affectionately nicknamed NUCO, NWCO, and the NBCC Projects Office. So we are still very much one of the 6 portfolio projects, but you'll see some shared positions there around environmental work. Celia Vanderloop is here, strategic partnerships, Barb Frommel, and Keith Scripton is also here, our real estate project manager, helping us with land acquisitions. And this is a little snapshot into how we are coordinated on the city side to make sure that we've got the appropriate check-ins and oversight. You'll see the large green box in the middle is our steering committee, members of cabinet appointed by the mayor for parks, planning, public works, economic development. Those are the folks we check in with on a regular basis. Both the Office of the National Western Center and the NBCC. On the left, you'll see our Executive Oversight Committee. Those are 9 folks put in place by the mayor that include CSU, the National Western, the city, and the community. You'll see the Citizens Advisory Committee there that was created by the National Western Center that we check in with them on a regular basis for part of our process, as well as an Event Programming Advisory Committee and a Capital and Operations Funding Advisory Committee. Those are both advisory groups to the Executive Oversight Committee. And that's what we put in place for now to help us make progress on the site as we go through all of these RFPs. These are the entities we'll be checking in with at the city. So back to project reporting, just to spend a couple of minutes on this. It's a more unusual RFP, and it is distinct from the program and project management that you'll hear Eric Shaffrin talk about next. So I want to spend a couple of minutes on it, describing it, and then I'm happy to answer questions at the end of the session, and there may be some follow-up. What we are doing with the project reporting RFP and why we would pull this out separately. The city team has spent the last couple of years in coordination with our partners spending money ahead of the actual construction project. So when we talk about an $856 million Phase 1 and Phase 2 project, there are a number of efforts that we've taken over the last couple of years. Things like an economic study, some early work around generation, energy, waste, and water, study work related to that, some early historic assessments. These are the steps we're taking to make sure that we can get the site done in the right way and build it right. But these are also things that we need to have some public transparency on, reporting into our partners, for CSU, to the Board of Governors, to our City Council, to our City Auditor. There's a whole list of folks that we need to check in with, and a whole lot of project work going on that will not be capitalized the $856 million Phase 1 and 2 project. Those are the components that we need help telling our story to and making sure that we continue to be transparent and in the public with those components of work. In addition, we are still one of the 6 portfolios of the NDCC. So the other task that we'll be looking for on this, and we will need to be creative as we go through the scoping for this with folks that we interview, because with the NDCC work, there's been a lot of project reporting that's happened to date, but I think there's a way to start to add some of the numbers to this and some of that public transparency and show the dollars we spent to date. This project reporting really is, I call it a look back at things that we've done so far, whereas the program and project management would look more traditionally, and when Eric describes it, as that hands-on, forward-looking management of a construction project. So you'll see things in that scope that would look like change control processes, estimates at complete, the construction budget management. Project reporting is that look back on what's happened with that budget management, but it's also that hands-on control of the complementary work that we're also doing. So we just have a lot of efforts going on, and we need a way to bundle it all together. And then also linking that back to the NDCC, and with the new director coming in, looking for opportunities to make all of our reporting tighter and more available and more accessible. So that's in a nutshell. The one piece I'd add is that we do have some very specific reporting attached to some of our funding sources. So Regional Tourism Act funding, it's 30 years worth of funding, and it has reporting requirements for 30 years. So I'm not saying this is a 30-year RFP, but I am saying that it will be a long relationship with the city because these reporting requirements don't go away. They're attached to our funding sources as well. We are hopeful in terms of timing to get this out the door, to have a scope finalized with our partners and that Executive Oversight Committee by the end of this month, and we hope to have something released by the end of June. So that's our timing on the project reporting RFP.